Hello, my name is Thaddeus Gilbert, and I'm no professional when it comes to sound engineering, but I do know the basics. Today we're going to be talking about Audacity, just the basics. We're not going to go in too terribly deep as to what you can do. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because it's a free software for anything that isn't a Chromebook. So it's very versatile in what we're able to use. You just have to Google it, and you can download it within 10 minutes. I've done it a few times. This is what the Audacity interface looks like, and we're going to do a quick rundown of a handful of the tools that you're able to utilize and how to read some of them. For starters, you have your recording array, which is the pause, play, stop, skip to beginning, skip to end, and the record button. The record button is going to be the one that you're going to be using the most when recording. I know, real shock. But that's all very important. Next, we're going to come over to our monitoring setup, which is this area right here. You can see that we're able to monitor both our input from the microphone and the output that we are doing from the speakers, which I'm afraid that I've just done a test of the current setup, and with the recording software for how I'm taking this video, I'm not actually able to utilize it to its fullest potential, so we won't be able to hear the audio that's coming off of this interface, I'm afraid. I can't even have it going through my speakers. I don't know what's going on with the two recording softwares going on. They're just not working very well together. But we can come over here and push the microphone button and start monitoring. And you'll notice that it's green for a majority of what we're doing. And this is very helpful because you're able to see how much noise you're creating. So if you get close, you can tell that it starts to get yellow and then red, which is not the best. That was way too loud. Which is not the best for your recordings. And how you can do that, how you can adjust that without too much work, is that you can come in here and there's a monitoring, it's a microphone recording volume adjustment that you can make in the software itself. So I like to have it near the middle, let's say about 66%. It's pretty helpful for where I'm at right now. And then you can also adjust the volume from your playback, which you can also see over here once we get to that. Let's go ahead and stop the monitoring. Okay, so over here we can see a handful of our editing tools. I personally have never used the draw tool or the multi-tool, which isn't the most helpful in my personal opinion. The rest of them I've used from time to time. Which we have the selection tool, we have the envelope tool, which is quite helpful for when you are trying to set up your volume levels. Well, when you have too much in one section and you want to be able to do a quick intro and outro, so that way, yeah. You have your zoom tool, which is helpful when you're getting really nitpicky. And then you have a time shift tool if you want to be able to cut your tracks and move them around. So yeah. Next up, we're going to be talking about how to mute background noise. Now, I'm about to show you how to do this, and it's going to show you a track. When I start recording, it's going to come up. There's going to be a track right here. Actually, hold on, before we get into that. You can see that I have a few different selections as to where I want the input coming from. At the moment, I have it going through a professional setup, which is going through this microphone here. I can also have it set up so that way it goes through my microphone array through the computer itself, which I'm not a big fan of. And I can also have it set up to be a two-part stereo recording channel, which means that there will be two separate recordings because it isn't available for all microphones, but it is for this one. And it'll have two separate tracks that'll show up and be combined together. So that way basically it's one for each ear. And then I also have my output, which is currently set up to go through my computer, but I'm going to change that to go through my headset. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to discuss how to mute background noises once we start recording. When I start recording, I'm going to give it about 2 to 3 seconds of just absolute silence, because even though I'm being silent myself and I'm not using my voice, there's still a bunch of white noise that we might be able to just zone out. I have a air purifier going on in the background, and my microphone is so sensitive that it will actually be picking up the fan from my computer. And I want to make sure that those don't show up in the final recordings when I'm producing this stuff. So we're going to start off by giving it about a 2 to 3 second white noise, just to be able to, yeah, 1 sec. And that should be enough time. So let's go ahead and stop it. And then we're going to come over here with our selection tool and select the area that we want. We're then going to come up to Effects, click on that, and then there's a lot of different things. You don't need most of these, just for the quick introduction. We're going to go to Noise Reduction, though, and we're going to, you'll see that it'll even give you some instructions. There's 2 steps to this. First off is that you wanted to select the space that you wanted, and then you're going to get the noise profile. And now it has the noise profile. So you're going to come down here and click out of that. Then you're going to select the entire piece and come back to Effect. Go back to Noise Reduction, and then you're going to go to the second step. And basically all you got to do now is press OK. And that would have taken out all of the white noise, which I'd love to show you, but again, this recording software for the video does not work very well with recording software for the audio. So I can only do so much there, which I'm very sorry about. Next up, we're going to talk about how to split a track, which again, we come in here, which isn't too terribly far off. We start off by coming in with a selection tool to, let's just say right there. And then we can go to Edit, Clip Boundaries, and Split. And then we get to come up here to the Time Shift tool, grab what we wanted, and now we have 2 separate tracks that we can move around freely. Then I wanted to do one last little thing about envelopes, just because we're here. You can click a basic place, and when you're enveloping, we talked about peaking earlier, and you can set up that point where you want to be able to stop peaking. And so you can actually come in here and stop like right here. I can click again right there, and another one right here. And now we can actually adjust how much sound you're getting from each of those. And let's say I want to come back about right here for that point. Ooh, nope. Keep it about as even as possible. And then it'll fade out really quickly, and then we can have it fade back in. So the envelope tool will allow you to be able to, it's so weird with this camera, kind of squish audio, so that way it's very helpful for transitions and the like. So that way it doesn't awkwardly just cut, because then you can like fade, that's the word I was looking for. You can fade in and out, so that way you aren't just cutting around, which is helpful. And yeah, now we're going to discuss how to view zooms. So we mentioned that we have a zoom tool. You can come in here, and then you can actually, there's a zoom tools again over here. So you can just zoom in as much as you'd like. I'd rather be... no, stop. Stop. That's the button. So let's come back out. Selection tool over here. And you can zoom in with these 2 buttons over here. Zooming in right there. And how... Wait, this, when you get this close, it's really cool. Just to mention this. Microphones are recorded, their sound is recorded by a bunch of minor bytes, and it can actually show you each individual dot and how quickly they are recording each individual spot. I just think that's kind of cool. But that is how you're able to zoom in and out of certain areas. You just select the area you want to zoom in or out of, and it'll go ahead and do that. You can also select a full project, and you can have it be sized to fit the width of your screen. Or you can just select a certain area and have that select the fit that to the length, and it'll fill your screen with just that section. So that way, if you're getting really nitpicky with certain areas, you are able to adjust accordingly, which is it's really nice when you're starting to cut and paste a whole bunch of different things together. It's very helpful. Let's go back to the full screen. All right. There's 3 things that I still want to talk about, which is importing, exporting, and saving a project. So we're going to start off with an import. You come up here to File, you go to Import, and Audio. I have a whole bunch of different options right here. So we're going to go with Timmy's Best Wish Fails. Don't ask me why I have this on my computer. It was for a class. And then let's go ahead and just cut this section real quick. I'll be back in 2 seconds. All right, and now that we've split them, we're actually able to go ahead and move this up here. So we're able to cut and paste and do a little bit of fun stuff. And ta-da, now they're all together. And if I could show you, you would be able to hear that all three of these blend together without any real seams. If I were to just take that out. So you're able to put in and take out and move around all sorts of stuff that way. Which is helpful when you're putting in some new sound cues. You can also have just the second track down here at the bottom. And you can have just, if you're having like quick sound bites, you're able to put in a track for like Foley work, which is really helpful. And then you're able to just kind of put it at the bottom, set it to where you want it to be, and then you can just keep moving. And once you save this, well, you know what, we're going to get to that in just a second, aren't we? How you save a project is you go over here to Save Project, you click on Save Project, and then you save your project. You should give it a name first, which I'm not going to do because this is just for an example. And then finally, to export, you come down here, and I only really do it as an MP3 just because that's the only thing I've ever really needed to do. But you can save it as any kind of file that you want, in which case you're going to press on MP3. You can title it whatever you want. So let's just be example. And press the save button. And then you're able to go ahead and do some metadata, which is such as the artist name, the title, and this will always be saved with your MP4 data, or MP3 data, not your MP4. MP4s are videos. And so that way you're able to have the information track, so that way people will always know who's done what work on this. And that's the bare basics of how to use Audacity effectively. I would highly encourage, if this is something that interests you, or if you didn't think I did a great job and you want to try and look a bit further, or if you're struggling with it yourself, you might want to go ahead and look up some more professional videos. They can be a bit much. This is geared to just be a quick introduction. But I hope that this helped you learn a little bit about Audacity. All right.